Hello and welcome to the show. This week's Downhill Chaos, we're going to have some sort of sports and supercars, and we start with the Comet, very much a Porsche 911. Now, I was thinking that this could be quite a good car for doing this. This was also the first car that I found out how to do the strobe light effect thing with the back of it a while ago now. When did we? I can't remember when I started doing that. Anyway, the first run, I may have been spending most of the day playing Forza 5. Forgot about all of the grip that comes with the GTA 5. Also, didn't stop at all for the first corner. Yeah, little bit of a difference going from Forza 5 to GTA 5 as we roll down a mountain and eventually get the car stopped with most of the bits having fallen off, and then get a light bump from a boulder. So my theory behind the Comet being a good car for this is that it is rather small, and it also has a little bit higher ride height. So small cars tend to be good for rallying. The slightly higher ride height than some of the supercars should mean it deals with the bumps a little bit better. Brakes are pretty good, as you can see. It is holding on to the holding on to the mountain. I couldn't quite get it to climb back up. I had some real problems with this corner though. I'm not sure why. The Comet just did not like it at all. There were real problems getting it around that corner. This is a fairly quick car as well. It's one of the faster sports cars, I think. I had some other problems here. Just about still trying to fight for control of the car. Maybe we can go across the rocks. We'll face the wrong way. There we go. We're fine. I got it together in the end. Yeah, that wasn't the best corner that I've ever done. So, yeah, this car wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. We had some problems going on two wheels and somehow exploded. I'm still not sure how we exploded. This is a rear-engined car. I don't know why it exploded when I hit the front. It should be fine when you hit the front with this car. The problem with this is like a lot of road cars, it gets bounced around, it gets thrown around by the bumps a lot, and it really affects this car quite a lot. I mean, I've driven various sports cars and road cars down here, and this really does not like the bumps particularly. Also, sudden random oversteer, that was something I'm not used to on a GTA, and then I tried to take the corner like I normally would, despite the fact I had absolutely no speed. Yeah, it's very rare you have a car kind of kick out that much through there. I just didn't expect it. Again, more problems running into this corner. It's not a good idea to be sort of on the hill on your side trying to stop. Also, Coyote AI is worse than Hiker AI. It just ran off the mountain. You can just about see it down there. It got up. It's fine. It carries on running, and then it goes off the mountain. I don't know what's going on down there. Anyway, I did get a clean run with the Comet. It took a little bit of time. This isn't the best off-road car that I've ever driven. I guess it's very light. It really gets thrown around a lot by the bumps. It does handle quite well when you're driving it on the road. I enjoy driving it over here, but for off-road driving, isn't really the best of cars. Not quite as good as I thought it might be. As ever with these very high grip cars, you have to be a little bit careful with it trying to roll on some of the corners. No, it is nowhere near as bad as the Voltic, but you do have to be careful. You saw earlier on the final section can be especially tricky with this. I got very close. I was pushing my luck a little bit with that hairpin, trying to take as much speed as I could through there. Yeah, that's about as close as you want to get your rear wheel to the edge of that. I am being a little bit cautious down here, a little bit slower over that jump. This car did not like that section at all. This bit here is not really a problem in anything. May have, I say that, I may have ballsed up a little bit on that, but no time is really lost. Got the landing correct for that one. This next section is quite scary in these fast cars and these high grip cars. Getting the landing there, almost got it wrong, got in trouble there, got away with it. It's this section here, the cars like to end up on two wheels. I ended up kind of riding the bank for a little bit, got away with it, and again, around this final corner, it's wanting to go on two wheels and then slide. All manner of problems, almost cut the corner a bit too much there as we go across the line, and we finish with, that was intended. That was completely and absolutely intended. That sort of 360 and avoiding all of the trees. Yeah, I absolutely meant to do that. So the Comet got to the bottom of the mountain. Yeah, I quite like this car. I quite like driving this car on the road. It is not the best for off-road driving. It is a little bit tricky driving this car down here. Up next, we have the Infernus, a kind of a cross between a Lamborghini and a Zonda, which is a very good combination. If you want to make a combination of cars, they're the two that you want to combine. Yeah, I do quite like the Infernus. I was messing about with it. It does a very effective strobe light. I have never noticed this before until I started messing about with this, but the tail lights look like Pokeballs. And now you've seen that every time you look at the back of this car. That is what you will see. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have said anything. Anyway, as far as off-road capabilities go, I didn't really know what to expect from this car. We've had a couple of supercars down here before, and we had the Adder, and the Voltic struggled with sort of too much grip. The Adder was just blindingly fast. Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect from this. This is very, very good. This is incredibly good down here. I may have just got that wrong. Trying to carry too much speed over there, ended up kind of climbing over some rocks. Yes, you can still get things wrong. However, it is a very, very good car. Speed is one of the issues. It is a very, very fast car, this one. And I was sort of arriving at corners and jumps a lot faster than I would have been in most of the vehicles that I drive down here. So there's a few incidences of me just taking too much speed into a corner and sort of not realizing, again, having problems here for probably the same reason, to be honest. And we go off down, that's not particularly good. And then we go roll, and we do some more rolls and some more rolls. This is another car, actually, that doesn't like to self-right itself. Once you've got it on its roof, sometimes the cars will, sometimes the cars won't. Eventually, we just about managed to find some control. There we go. Managed to get it stopped. Again, too much speed. Almost over there. It was so easy to get carried away doing that. I almost got a perfect line through that hairpin, and not quite. There is a weird bump on the inside. I think what it is the way the terrain, it looks like you can take the corner there, when in actual fact the terrain kind of drops away, so you end up sort of spinning yourself out. Again, too much speed into this final section, got the car on two wheels, just about got it stopped under control, and then hit a bump. And once you've hit a bump, you're in the air, and then you've got no braking for the final corner, and you're going far too fast in this car, and you end up falling off the track and sliding rather slowly down the hill on your roof. Yeah, that wasn't particularly good. Again, we're having problems keeping control of this car. Once you get that landing wonky, you end up in the air and you've really got no control of it. And now it's rolling, and now it's back on its wheels and it's spinning around. We've fallen off the track. We're back on the track and we can carry on. Amazingly, despite all of that and having problems slightly earlier on and a huge oversteer moment, the Infernus got across the line. The time for that run was 3 seconds quicker than the Comet. Despite all of that, that went down the mountain 3 seconds quicker than the Comet. Yeah, this car is mighty, mighty fast down here. Too fast for that little bit of section. Amazingly, I managed to get it through between the rocks, and we get some serious speed. I'd like to know how fast it was going down here. It's got some serious speed up before it hits the sort of the hill a little bit wonky, and then collects a tree. Yeah, this car is seriously, seriously quick. A lot of it is down to the absolutely phenomenal brakes, which, as I tried to push the car more and more, did cause a few problems, because I thought I could get away with braking later and later. That incident there was a little bit strange. Yeah, I'm still not sure quite on how that crashed. Off the start line, that is impressive airtime from the Infernus. Only the Adder has got more airtime from that sort of start line jump. Got to be a little bit careful with the huge speed. Very easy to overshoot these jumps, as you saw earlier on. As I said, the brakes are amazing on this car. Despite the huge speeds you get up to, it gets stopped so quickly. So yeah, it really is very, very quick in between the corners. Handling is very good as well on this car, as we slide it through the first tight corner on towards the hairpin, and again get it around the hairpin without too many problems. It is a supercar, and it deals with the bumps incredibly well. It probably deals with the bumps the best of the supercars and the sport cars we've had down here. The Adder wasn't too bad until you got to the really rough section. This deals with it remarkably well. And I think you could go quicker through some of these corners. I keep wanting to get the car going quicker, but this is a supercar driving on a bumpy off-road course. It shouldn't be able to do what it does. It holds onto the road remarkably well. Always scary taking that jump at speed. You're never quite sure if the car's going to bounce up into the air. As we go down sort of the very narrow route, Don't get the car on 2 wheels this time, which is always useful. Have to be a little bit slow through this very rough section at the end, which costs the Infernus a little bit of time, but it's around the corner, final corner, and there you go. It is across the line. Very, very quick car, the Infernus. I was genuinely amazed at how quick that car, and how easy and how well it drove down there. Sure, when you're trying to push this car to its absolute limit down that road, there are going to be some mistakes, and it is a supercar on an off-road course, but it was very, very good. Third and final car is the Rapid GT. I saw this one driving around and thought it'd be interesting. This is a car, I think, a bit like the Infernus in a way, that gets forgotten about a bit. The Infernus was the very, very fast car from GTA 4, but it's now kind of been superseded by the Adder and the Entity. And I think this is a sports car that kind of gets forgotten about a bit. So I was going to give this one a go. From the back is very much an Aston Martin. From the front, I'm not really sure. I don't know what this car is from the front. Looks a bit weird. But from this angle is definitely an Aston Martin. So if anybody knows what it looks like from the front, let me know, because I'm not sure what car it is. Anyway, it was a little bit of a shock going to this from the Infernus. This does not have the brakes of the Infernus. It does not get stopped as well. It does struggle. Well, I say struggle. It struggles in comparison. I should have done the Infernus last of all of these runs, as yeah, it is a bit hard going to this, having driven the car with phenomenal brakes, as you can see. Again, I thought I could get away with stopping in time from that, and no, I couldn't. I've fallen off the mountain quite a few times that way. In this episode, this is still a pretty quick car, don't get me wrong. It's not quite as good at dealing with the bumps as some of the vehicles. I've never had a car do that before. Not only the nose sort of scrape along the floor and stay vaguely pointing in a direction. I haven't had a car had a problem with that bump there before. I get a pretty remarkable save. I'm I'm pretty pleased with that one, not having any silly problems. It wouldn't last particularly long. This car starts twitching and moving about under braking. I have no idea what caused it to do that. Must have hit something slightly awkwardly, and off we go down the mountain. Normally we see the cars rolling down here. Don't normally see a car kind of spinning 360. I don't know how many spins it's done down there before it eventually starts going back to flips and does a double. It's pretty impressive as a stunt car down here, and we will eventually land and get it stopped. Yeah, this is not too bad a car to drive off-road, if I'm honest. I think it must be a little bit heavier than the Comet. It doesn't have as many problems dealing with the bumps and dealing with the off-road. May have tried to put the power down a little bit too soon on that one. I've done that a few times. It's incredibly infuriating, when you do that. You get a really good exit through the hairpin, so you boot it, and then you just slide off wide. Yeah, that's rather annoying. Again, brakes not stopping the Rapid GT as we land from another jump. I'm not sure why that didn't stop. I'm surprised, because I wasn't carrying huge speed over there. It just did not want to get stopped in time. Anyway, it didn't take too long to get a decent run with the Rapid. It's a pretty capable car off-road. It doesn't have the brakes of the Infernus, but then again, I'm not particularly surprised. I would imagine this is a much heavier car. This is also a sports class car rather than a super class car, so yeah, it's not going to quite have as powerful braking. However, it deals with the bumps better than the Comet. It sticks to the road fairly well. Again, we have the two-wheel problem that I've had with a lot of these higher grip cars that I'm always wary of. Going around some of these banked corners. Surprisingly easy to roll these cars on this road. Don't quite get the hairpin right with this car. Coming up towards my least favourite corner this week down here is, I don't know, there was just something about that corner was unsettling these cars. I'm not sure if I was catching bumps wrong. I think I was tripoding it there for most of that corner. Again, through here, not much to really worry about. Try not to run too wide on this corner so you can have a nice line up for the jump. Get it landed nice and smoothly, and this time it doesn't go and explore the scenery. And there's one more large jump to go that I'm always worrying about, the landing on this one. It doesn't take too much of a bounce, which is always nice, and it's off down the little side path. Again, you can see the car lifting up on two wheels. It's not much fun when you're trying to carry lots of speed through there. Very easy to roll. I'll break myself a little bit, just caught some bumps a little bit awkwardly, ended up out on the rock. However, it wasn't too many problems as we get the Rapid GT across the line. yeah, a fairly solid off-road vehicle for a sports class car. Maybe not the fastest, maybe a little bit heavy, a little bit slower on the acceleration than some vehicles. However, that extra weight does mean that it doesn't get thrown around on the bumps quite as much. We move to the descent times, and the Infernus sets a mighty impressive time of 1:19.07, making it the fastest road car down Mount Chiliad. Beating a Dune buggy and a Biff. I wasn't expecting to be saying that a Lamborghini Zonda is the quickest road car to go down Mount Chiliad. It's still quite a long way off the bikes and a couple of seconds behind a quad bike, but still, that's massively quick. I was really surprised how quickly that car got down the mountain. When we look at the Comet and the Rapid GT, they end up in sports car territory pretty much, slightly slower than the Z-Type. The Z-Type's really rather quick down here. Little bit slower than the Coquette. Again, all of these times are very, very close. They go fractionally faster than a Gauntlet and faster than a Sand King. The Voltic is fairly close as well. So yeah, no real surprise from them. I thought the Comet might put in an interesting time. It's just too light, I think. It gets thrown around a little bit too much. However, that is it for this week's Downhill Chaos. So thank you very much for watching. I'm tempted to do a Supercars episode next week and see if we can get any more surprising. I'm shocked how quickly that Infernus got down there. It's quicker than the Adder. I really wasn't expecting that. So yeah, maybe we'll do a Supercar episode next week, or maybe we'll do something silly. I don't know. Let me know in the comments section if you want Supercars or if you want silly vehicles. Up to you guys, really. However, that is it for today. So until next time, goodbye.